Choosing between purchasing models, selecting the right service tier, and deciding on high availability options can mean the difference between a few $100s per month and several $1,000s per month for the same workload.
Welcome back to the Azure Essentials Show. I'm Thomas, and today I'm here with Maria Jose from Microsoft Azure. Today we are diving into Azure Database Cost Estimation and how to use Azure Pricing Calculator to model costs for database workloads, building on the framework and tools we covered in the first two episodes of this series. Maria Jose, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me, Thomas.
So let's start with the big picture. We have covered cost estimation frameworks and the Azure Pricing Calculator in our first two episodes. How does database pricing fit into all of this?
Great question. As we covered up in our first episode, successful Azure cost estimation follows a three-layer approach: understanding your architecture, configuring your services, and estimating your usage patterns. Today, we're applying that same framework to database workloads. Database pricing is one of the trickiest areas to estimate because you're making decisions across multiple interconnected cost factors. Think back to the electricity bill analogy that we saw in episode 1. Your compute is like the appliances running in your house. Your storage is the space those appliances occupy, and premium features like high availability are like having a backup generator. The two most common modernization paths are migrating to Azure SQL database, which gives you enterprise-grade capabilities with deep SQL Server compatibility, or moving to Azure Database for PostgreSQL Server for open source workloads. Both offer fully managed services where Microsoft handles all the infrastructure, patching, and backups.
This is great. So what makes database cost estimation particularly challenging?
That's a great question. The challenge that most organizations face here is understanding how configuration choices translates to costs. Choosing between purchasing models, selecting the right service tier, and deciding on high availability options can mean the difference between a few $100s per month and several $1,000s per month for the same workload. This is exactly where the Azure Pricing Calculator can really help. It makes these trade-offs transparent, letting you model different scenarios side by side before you commit to any spending.
So this is super helpful. Can you walk us through a typical scenario where someone would be estimating these database costs?
Absolutely. Let me illustrate this with a typical modernization scenario. You have an on-premises web application that you're moving to the cloud. The front end migrates to Azure App Service, and your database tier moves to either Azure SQL Database Hyperscale or Azure Database for PostgreSQL Flexible Server. The result is a fully managed architecture where you don't have to maintain any virtual machines. Microsoft handles everything from batching to backups to high availability.
So that makes sense. Moving to a fully managed service definitely simplifies operations. So when you're estimating costs for that kind of modernization, what are the main decisions that drive your monthly spending?
There are 5 key configuration decisions to take into account. First is your purchasing model. With Azure SQL Database, you choose between DTU, which bundles everything together, or vCores, which gives you independent control and unlocks savings opportunities. Second is your compute tier and size, which determines how much processing power you have. Third is the storage, meaning how much data you're storing. Fourth is high availability, where you decide on the zone redundancy or replicas. And fifth are your savings options: Azure Hybrid Benefit for SQL Database, reservations for both services, stop-start capabilities for PostgreSQL, or our new offer savings plans for databases.
That sounds like those savings could really add up. Can you show us how to actually estimate these costs using the Azure Pricing Calculator?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Let's take this scenario further and walk through how to estimate database costs using the Azure Pricing Calculator. I'll show you both Azure SQL Database and PostgreSQL so you can see how the configuration choices we just discussed actually impact your monthly bill. So first, let me walk you through Azure SQL Database. Open the Azure Pricing Calculator, click Add to Estimate, and search for Azure SQL Database. Then, go to select your target Azure region. Note that the pricing varies by the region you select. So model the region where you'll actually want to deploy. Now you have to choose between two purchasing models: the DTU model that I mentioned before, where compute, storage, and input output are bundled together, or the vCore model, where compute and storage are priced independently. The only thing to highlight is that when choosing vCore, you will immediately activate the different savings that you see under SQL license, while in DTU, you won't have the same savings options. Then you go to the choosing vCore dropdown, and there you will see how, depending on the number of cores, your price will also change.
Awesome. So vCore is the way to go for maximum flexibility and savings.
Exactly. Now for the service tier, select hyperscale, which is ideal for applications needing fast performance and auto-scaling storage. Choose general purpose compute with 8 vCores and watch what happens as you drag the vCore slider. Each step adds more cost per month. 2 vCores give you a baseline for dev test, and 8 vCores is typically for production. 16 or more vCores handles high throughput workloads. The compute tier also determines your memory to core ratio. Memory optimized tiers cost more per vCore, but may allow you to use fewer cores total for memory intensive workloads. So it's worth modeling both.
Okay, so we talked about CPU and memory. What about storage and backups?
So for the purpose of the demo, we're setting the storage to 512 gigabytes for this example. Notice that storage and backup storage appear as separate line items. You'll also see backup redundancy choices. This is the resiliency aspect of the demo. And you will see how LRS is the cheapest option. GRS provides geo redundancy and is recommended for production. And then RAGRS offers read accessible geo redundancy at the highest cost. Many teams overlook backup costs during estimation, but for large databases with GRS, this can add meaningfully to the monthly total.
Okay, got it. What about high availability?
So for the high availability part, you have to go to the locally redundant dropdown and switch to zone redundant for availability zone protection across data centers in the same region. This is a key part in any organization has to follow for resiliency aspects. Then you will have to go to the disaster recovery dropdown and choose between either primary or geo replica or failover rights standby replica. The primary is a standard high availability within a region. Geo replica is cross-region failover. And then if you want to save even more, you can choose failover rights standby replica. As we wrap up this part, I would like to highlight that when you're choosing vCore, you will see Azure Hybrid Benefit and other savings options turn on. And just as a suggestion, it's good that you evaluate whether to use reservations plus high availability, which I mean failover rights standby replica, or reservations with Azure Hybrid Benefit. They both will allow you to maximize savings when using Azure SQL database.
These are some pressing savings. What about PostgreSQL? How does that compare?
So, sure, you have to repeat the exact same process using Azure database for PostgreSQL flexible server. So you just have to switch compute tiers, select burstable or dedicated compute, choose your storage, and decide if you want high availability or read replicas. The beauty of the calculator is that you can model multiple scenarios side by side. Try a lower cost configuration for development, a balanced setup for production, and a high performance option for peak periods. Then export these estimates to share with your finance and your engineering teams for decision making.
Maria Jose, this has been such a practical walkthrough. What would you recommend as the next steps for our viewers?
Open the Azure Pricing Calculator right now and start modeling your own database workloads. Add either Azure SQL database or PostgreSQL flexible server, experiment with different configurations, and see how your choices impact the monthly estimate.
That's a great way to get started. Maria Jose, this has been such a helpful deep dive into database cost estimation and how to use the Azure Pricing Calculator to make informed decisions about your database modernization projects. Thank you for walking us through all these configuration options and showing us how they translate into real costs.
Thanks for having me.
As always, you can find the links to all the resources we covered today in the episode description below, including the links to the episode 1 and 2 if you want to catch up on the full cost estimation series. If you have questions for Maria Jose about database pricing or cost estimation, drop them in the comments below. And don't forget to give our show a like and subscribe to the channel to get notified when a new episode drops. Thank you for watching and see you next time in the Azure Essentials Show.